Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today we are discussing what I believe to be the most underrated watchmaker in the Richemont group. Piaget boasts that it is the master of the ultra-thin and has been since 1957 when the 9P came out. Honestly, I believe that Piaget lives up to its boast. And here we have a 2013 debut. This is the Piaget Altiplano Date caliber 1205P and 6.6 millimeters thick in rose gold. It's a lovely 40 millimeters in diameter and 44.8 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, not just thin, but short across the wrist, with a 21 millimeter spacing that gives it a nice modern stance on the wrist. So this watch is super flush. You can see ultra thin, thanks to a movement that's only 3 millimeters thick. It almost sits below my wrist hair. It'll sit underneath any dress cuff, and because it's so short across the wrist, I could recommend it for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference, which opens the door to lady collectors enjoying this watch. Taking a quick look at the strap, you can see large rectangular scale alligator leather, dark brown, semi-gloss. We have a thin folded edge, a monotone stitch, and then we have calf skin on the bottom, and you can see that it is a brand new Piaget factory strap. We also have a Piaget factory rose gold pin buckle. Now, Piaget has long been a movement manufacturer, and they've been making ultra-thin movements in-house since the 1950s, and they take that to heart. Let's start on the back of the watch. Now, I believe that Piaget movements are as beautifully made today as anything from Audemars Piguet. There are two companies that I really feel need to be considered as rivals to AP, as it moves farther and farther away from the haute-horlogerie hand finish of its Holy Trinity roots, and more towards a more machine-finished aesthetic. AP is falling prey to companies like Piaget that are matching AP blow for blow on finish. So here we have caliber 1205P, micro rotor automatic. This automatic winder has a power reserve of 44 hours, pivots on 27 jewels. It is only 3 millimeters thick, and you can see they achieve that by putting the whole winding mechanism in the same plane as the other bridges, winding the gear train, the barrel. You have the open case-back vista to enjoy the finish of your movement and the architecture of your movement that you would get with a manual wind. You have the thin profile of a manual wind, but you also have the convenience of automatic winding. And the 44-hour power reserve beats out at a rate of 21,600 vibrations per hour. There is a quick set system for the date. So we've got this 3 hertz beat rate and a movement that's properly sized for the case at 30 millimeters in diameter. You can see it's nicely matched to the size of the case. Piaget building the watch, designing the movement to fit the case, the mark of a true manufacturer. Let's take a look at some of this fine finish. We have engine turning on the base plate, circular Cote de Genève on the rotor as well as across the bridges. We have a bevel that is machined but neat and tidy, exactly what you would get on an Audemars Piguet. All screw heads are either black polished or blued. We have both black polished and blued screws here, quite impressive. You could see that attention to detail has been paid, as all of the jewel sinks also feature interior beveling. We have satination on the wheels, then we also have solarization. So the train wheels feature satination. You can see them ducking out right there. Then we have solarization on the crown wheel core. You could see that we have solarization on wheels that are involved in reduction, the ratchet wheel that sits atop the barrel, the click has been black polished. It's a really good looking movement in all of this in a watch that is water resistant down to 30 meters, which is dress watch standard. Now, I mentioned before that the watch does have a quick set, and sure enough, it does have a quick set system. You can rapidly set the date if you want to. It does not have a hacking seconds function, but it's got the quick set. And I will also say that when the crown is withdrawn, it has one of the smallest dead angles of any watches I've ever encountered, as the distance you turn the crown before the hands move, it's almost seamless to the point that there is almost no dead angle in the angular motion of the crown. Now, the dial is thin. You can see it's got 3 steps. There's the outer track, the inner track, and then sub-seconds. And the indices are radially arrayed, with the indices doubled at the quarters 12, 3, 6, and 9. This is haute horlogerie at its best. And again, I think it's competitive with stuff like Audemars Piguet and Jaeger-LeCoultre if you want to look at a Richemont group rival that competes with Piaget in-house. But again, if you get an AP that had all of this Rest assured, it would cost a whole lot more money. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.